Malawi Brief.
Popitiriza ndi kafukufuku wa nkhani ya Maris Hotel, Kapondamgaga amene dzulo anatchulidwa kuti anapanga attend meeting ndi cholinga choti akangodya, lero aonekera ku komiti kumene nawonso apereka gawo lawo la nkhani imeneyi ya Maris Hotel, ndipo komiti yafunsa mafunso ndithu ochuluka, ndipo umu ndi mmene zonse zayendera.
I accepted in the comfort that government at times comes in when they want to understand operations of some strategic institutions, and they normally do that through the OPC's office. So one would expect that the SPC or the OPC would be better placed to why that meeting was convened when the Act states otherwise. So, Mr. Chairman, that's how I can respond to that. Oh, sorry.
Chikwawa North.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. The controlling officer, can you tell this committee on the action points that were assigned to the PSPTF for the execution during the meeting? Number one. Number two, the controlling officer, out of all the senior personnel in the government on that time, why only you were chosen to be part of this committee? What attracted the SPC to invite you to the committee, to this meeting? Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Prince Kapondamgaga, because you have time and again indicated that you were just there to listen. So if you listen to the first question from Chikwawa North, is in a way asking you to briefly give the committee what you listened, what was the strategic direction that you were providing. Because even in your response, you've indicated that at times the government wants to understand. But when you look at, as of March 2024, at that stage, you had been a controlling officer for State House for about 4 years. And the SPC had been, SPC appointed by the president then, had spent about 4 years in those controlling officer position. So what took so long for people to get to 4 years without understanding some of these and want to understand it after the operations after 4 years? You may take those controlling officer.
Thank you, Chair. But maybe before I proceed to respond to Chikwawa North, I have not responded to the issues raised by Mulanje West because of the so many interjections that came in between. Would you allow me to?
Controlling officer, you can start with Mulanje West, then proceed with the other questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. Mulanje West, you asked so many questions. If I don't maybe address some, you might, you may remind me if I've forgotten. To begin with, for my experience working with the president, you are also a gatekeeper. There are issues that because the president is a very busy person, there are strategic matters that you need to bring to the fore of the president. And when there are some issues you think you can handle as your office, you serve the presidents better that way because in any case, by virtue of choosing you to be in that office, you are an agent of the president. So there are matters that you think they don't have a strong bearing on decisions to be made by the president. That was the main reason that I had taken leave of the president, and what I was dealing with, I thought it's something that I could deal with at the technical level, because where the person I was meeting is a supervisor technically, not to me, that is not a strategic politically. So that's why I thought that being called to attend to a meeting and being an observer would not necessarily mean that every detail I need to take to the president. I used my judgment in that manner. If it's an error, it's an error on judgment, not an error by choice that you don't want to. So that's the way I take it. If there was an issue of an extreme case, as you indicated, Mulanje West, Honorable Mulanje West, I think that is an extreme case. If there is a death occurrence, I think that's a special case. You treat it as case by case. So that would have gotten to the attention of the president. We thank God nothing of that sort happened. But if there was such a thing, for sure, you would report to the president. I would report to the president. The third one, you asked about my personal relationship. I don't hold any personal relationships when I'm at work. Personal relationships are done when I'm at home. So when I'm at work, I believe in being professional. So my relationship with the SPC has been professional, and it had always been so in that regard. I think that's what I can respond to the questions that were raised by Mulanje West. The others, I think, were just an expansion of explanation on the points that you raised. So they were not as substantive questions as they came. Let me move to Mulanje Chikwawa North. Yes. Oh, sorry, sir.
What has gone out of order, Mulanje West?
He says when he's at work, he doesn't even hold any personal relationship. This day, when you didn't take leave of the president, were you at home or it was during work time? But also, you said you didn't take leave of the president, but also you didn't even report to him. What made you to say this transaction, the State House is also aware? When you're talking about the State House was aware, were you talking about yourself or the person who employed you? Or you were employed by the SPC or you were employed by the president? And who is the best person who is supposed to be, whom you are supposed to report issues? Were you supposed to report issues to the president or to SPC? Who was your immediate boss? Thank you.
Controlling officer, when we're done with responding to those, then we'll move to another honored member. Because I just want to be fair so that we reach out to as many members of parliament or team members of public accounts as we can, so that everyone feels that we are pulling in one direction as a team. Over to you, Mr. Kapondamgaga.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me respond to Mulanje West. The point of order. In my view, and this is my strong belief, the president must not be told everything. When you see that there are operational issues or technical or tactical issues that you can deal with, don't bother the president. The president has a lot of work to manage the country. That's why he trusts us as his agents to manage some of the things that we are supposed to handle. I couldn't go back and take leave of the president when I had knocked off and I'm going home, and when going home, the SPC wants to meet me. There are so many meetings of that sort that take place in government. I don't think you can belabor telling everything to the president. That is a strategic position. That is a very busy position. So you have to use your judgment in your office. If you make an error, own it. But as a leader in that field, in that respective office, you need to make a decision. So that's a decision I took, that because I weighed, that was my personal judgment, I weighed that these matters, we can handle them at our level. If there are any issues very serious and strategic, in any case, this meeting was called by the OPC, the head of Secretariat, the Secretary to the President and Cabinet. And the Secretary of the President and Cabinet is expected to brief the President on such matters. So I think that's how I would handle those issues about why I didn't take leave or why I didn't report. I made that decision. If I made an error, it's a judgment error. But I thought I need to own that. That's a decision I took. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mulanje West, allow us to proceed. I know, then we can come, Vice Chair, to give you a chance. But I think that you had to start on this one. Can you proceed to Zomba City? I mean Chikwawa North. Yes, Chikwawa North. Over to you, Controlling Officer.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to respond to the questions, two questions actually, raised by Chikwawa North. Action points from the meeting, why only you, what attracted the SPC to invite you? Let me start with question number 2. I wouldn't speculate and think on behalf of the SPC. The SPC is better placed to respond to such a question because it was her choice, it was her decision. So I don't want to spend time speculating. This is a house of records. You said, Chair, that we have to speak what we think is right and proper. So I don't think, Chair, I should belabor to go into speculation. Number 2, what action points? I would want also to say that I can only give generalities, but not action points. In any case, this meeting, in my view, must have minutes. And by governance standards, those minutes must have been reviewed, must have been adopted, must be approved, signed by the secretary and the chairperson of that meeting. In those minutes, that's where you get action points that were given to specifically to the public service pension trust fund. In any case, I would struggle, Mr. Chairman, I must be honest, to do a recall of the action points. I can only speak in general terms because this meeting took 2 years ago, took place 2 years ago. That's 6th March 2024. We are now on 19th March 2026. So to be honest, I can only give generalities. Generalities, as I said, the pension service trust and pension trust fund was given time to elaborate what it is, its operations and investment portfolios that are happening. So these were the issues that were there. One of the issues which was raised, I think I remember vividly, is an issue where they were saying that there was a potential litigation. I think that was the issue which the legal officer for the OPC was handling. So these are the critical issues in general terms. But for specifics, in terms of action points, Mr. Chairman, I would be very frank and honest that it is imperative to refer to the minutes so that we get a substantive record of what transpired from that meeting. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Can I have Palombe Machemba? Honour members, take note that I had picked. We need to exhaust those who laid their hands and we considered so that we go in that order. So, Palombe Machemba.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, allow me to ask the Director, the Controller, Mr. Kapondamgaga. My first question, Chair, is to find out from Mr. Kapondamgaga if at all, at any point, he expressed his opinion regarding the sale of Amaryllis Hotel. If he did at any point expressed his opinion, can he share it with this committee? Chair, my second question is to find out from him whether he truly consider his attendance at this meeting of 6th March 2024 as a good precedence for a public officer without a formal mandate to participate in discussions on major financial investments by a public institution. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Kapondamgaga.
Thank you, Chair. Let me appreciate the questions that have been raised by Palombe Machemba. Let me ask, Chair, if Palombe Machemba would repeat the question on expressing opinion on the sale. Expressing opinion at this particular meeting, or I just want to be very clear before I respond.
Palombe Machemba, can you be clear?
Thank you, Chair, for the chance to clarify my first question. The opinion probably expressed during this meeting or even outside this meeting at any point. Thank you, Chair.
Kapondamgaga, please.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't say anything at this meeting, so there is no way I could express my opinion. I heard about what was said, but I didn't express an opinion. I didn't think it was proper for me to do so. Secondly, let me hold my right to remain silent about expressing the opinion about Amaryllis for now. Thank you.
That is in order. Can we go to... Can you take the second question from Palombe Machemba?
Yeah, I think I don't have any regrets, to be honest, to be in this meeting. I listened in. I understood some of the things that I didn't know about the fund, which is a public service fund, and I was a public officer. And the issue of whether to have a formal invitation or not, I think not all meetings are supposed to have formal invitations. Sometimes they just give you a call that would be regarded as not formal, but at least they have communicated, especially in the present world, where there are WhatsApps, the social media, there are different forms of communication. So I have to be honest. I don't regret anything. Thank you, Chair.
Other members, you can hold your supplementary questions because we need to be fair. I think you may recall yesterday we had an in-house meeting and some of those things were raised. So anyone with substantive questions, take them down, then we'll recognize you as such. We had already picked Chilazulu Nyungwe. Chilazulu Nyungwe?
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. The people of Chilazulu Nyungwe would like to know, in the submission, particularly on point number 3, you stated that any guidance given during the meeting was attributed to the OPC. We also have a submission in this very committee that states that some of the attendees of this same meeting felt that the SPC was much interested in the Amaryllis transaction moving forward. I think there was a submission that even stated that some of the officers were using their technical know-how or their ability to make the transaction pass through as a way to gain some sort of advantage. So as an observer, I would like the former Chief of Staff to please confirm if he observed that this was the case and this was the position that the SPC took. I think I'll stop there for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Chilazulu Nyungwe, former SPC, is not attending today, but I will give guidance as we go along because of other things. Because now and again, the controlling officer, the former Chief of Staff, has indicated few things that it cannot speculate. So maybe we'll get to that level at a certain point as to what has actually happened and give guidance on how we're going to move as a committee. Over to you, the former controlling officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for according me this opportunity to respond to the question, or rather a comment that has been submitted by the people of Chilazulu Nyungwe. The statement which has been raised is a value judgment statement, and it's subjective because it depends on how the others listened and interpreted it, because it is subject to interpretation actually. That they saw that the SPC was pushing. I would avoid that statement. I would not comment anything, Mr. Chair. This is a House of Records. I would only rely on the minutes of that particular meeting to be a true and fair reflection of what was said. So I don't have any comment on that. I don't want to pass any value judgment. Thank you.
Controlling officer, former Chief of Staff. Like there was an indication that we have so many documents, one of which is what you have actually told this committee, that in any event, when you have a meeting, there has to be minutes, all right, signed, so that you agree that this is what we agreed. So, in all fairness, since you actually said you can't recall, but I remember saying you actually indicated the time that meeting occurred. But I would like to help you by refreshing you with actually what actually happened in that meeting. So I'll ask Blantyre Chiromoni to go through the minutes, just here and there, just to help you recall few things that were discussed in that meeting. Blantyre Chiromoni.
Thank you, Chair. Let me refresh his memory. Action plan number 1 in that meeting, the OPC suggested that a person from the OPC should be a trustee for easy flow of information of the funds development to the SPC. It was mentioned that the DHRMD, which is a department under OPC, is represented. Action number 3. The OPC instructed the fund to move with speed in concluding the sale of Amaryllis Hotel. Action point number 4, being it that the issue has reached the highest office, the fund was advised to report on a weekly basis the progress made in this transaction. Make communication to the Director of Legal Services, Mr. Chizaso Nyirongo. Action point number 5, the fund to engage the next investment manager on Amaryllis Hotel. And the way forward, the action points were given timelines. Number 1 timeline was to communicate on the replacement of trustee. The role was given to OPC to submit a nominee. The timeline was 1 month. Number 2, conclusion of Amaryllis transaction of March. The timeline was 1 month. Number 3, submission of comfort letter to the seller, YIL Investment. Timeline given was 3 days. Number 4, the fund to submit action plan to OPC on 8 March. They were given 5 days to do that. And finally, Chair, resuscitating the engagement with the next investment manager of Amaryllis. The timeline given was 1 month. I submit.
So, a former chief of staff, I think I've done you a favor by helping you get to the details of what actually happened, the actions which were agreed upon, that these are the things. Since you said you can't recall some of those things because you are a silent observer, having heard from Blantyre Chiromoni, do you agree to those minutes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Responding to the issue raised by Blantyre Chiromoni, where he has read what is said to be the minutes. It's very difficult for me, Chair, because these minutes I have not seen them. And these minutes, can I confirm with you, Chair, whether they are signed minutes? They were approved and signed for. I think that's where I need some comfort that there are minutes that were signed and approved. Because I don't remember to have seen minutes of that sort.
Controlling officer, I just want to come back to you. Did you attend the meeting? Can you get to the mic?
Yes, I did.
Is confirmation of the basic facts premised on the availability of minutes or recollection of your mind?
Thank you, Chair. I think, for me, I want to be very particular that we are talking of a house of records, and the minutes are very serious documents in as far as governance is concerned. So for me to commit and start commenting using those that have been read in reference to the question that was asked by Chiladzulo, is it Chilad?
I had asked Blantyre Chiromoni just to actually confirm and read some points within the action points within the discussions that you had in Mzuzu in 2024, just 2 years ago. You're a smart person. But you have decided to remember some and you forget some. Is this what we are seeing from these deliberations, former Chief of Staff?
Thank you, Chair. I thought I indicated that I would be safe to give generalities, but to go through the details of minutes and action points with the specific deadlines and whosoever was given that assignment, allow me, Chair, to refrain from that, because I strongly believe that minutes are a very strong instrument for governance, and it's an important record of any meeting. Thank you.
We will proceed in this way. Those who attended that meeting, we had one who appeared, and the other one is going to appear soon after you from the fund, who will verify and generate a conclusion out of those deliberations. What you've said to this committee and what the other colleagues are going to say to those effect. That said, we will also share with you officially, in case you forgot, we will officially, as Parliament, Public Accounts Committee, share with you the minutes. Then we would like you to respond, put it in writing, that these I can confirm, these I can't confirm. In that way, you help us to keep records at Parliament. We want to have a Parliament that is on top, and a Parliament that is being fair to everyone. Where we see that members are not, those who are appearing to this inquiry are not having enough information when the committee has, we'll give them a chance to go through and submit a written response based on the documents that we've given. So Secretariat will follow through with those documents to you. Then we'll expect you to give us a response in writing. Other members, can I have takers? I see Chitipa Central. I see Nkatabe Central. Blantyre City Central. Blantyre Central. And the Blantyre Chilomoni. In that order, please. Blantyre Chilomoni will be the last one. We'll start all the way from the north. Chitipa Central. I will not take, for now, those who already add something, so that we get to hear from other members who haven't spoke in the room or haven't asked substantive questions or any supplementary. But those of us supplementary, you'll be given a chance as well. Chitipa Central.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, for recognizing the great people of Chitipa Central. The people of Chitipa Central are hoping that the coming of the former Chief of Staff will help us understand some missing gaps surrounding the said pressure surrounding the purchasing of Amaris Hotel. He has indicated that his position was also leadership in nature, and politically he was reporting to the president. The SPC invited him in that room where it was said that these funds was having pressure from the SPC. By being in that room where the minutes that have been read, which some of them which has refused to recognize, by being silent, he approved what was being saying there. I want him to agree that he approved what was said in that room by being silent. Silence because the trustees knew that there is a political leadership in that room, and he was representing that political leadership, and the leadership is influence. So by being silent, to what was agreed in that room by not saying anything. I would want him to agree that he approved what was said in that room. Again, I would have come on supplemental on the question of Chilads Lunyungwe, but now it's my chance to come in for the question. He sat in that meeting as an observer. Mr. Nyilongo, who was also in that meeting, told us that the principal officer then, Mr. George Jim, was making demands to the SPC, Ms. Colleen Zamba, that he would make sure that the fund by the Amrest Hotel on condition that he's promoted. He may not have heard that, but as an observer, he must have observed something. In his observation, what was in it that Ms. Colleen Zamba wanted to make sure that the fund by the Amrest Hotel. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chitipa Central. Mr. Kapondamgaga.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to respond to the issue raised by the great people of Chitipa Central. Silence approving what was said in the room, I don't think so. Because any approval of anything that was said in the room only happens when the minutes are read, reviewed, they are adopted, and they are signed for. If you don't agree with what was said in the room, you don't agree with it. But also as an observer, that's why when the minutes are not there, I can't ask because it wasn't my meeting. I was just invited to listen. So I can't say that because I remain silent, then I am approving everything what was said in the room. Chair, I cannot say that. Number two, the demands that I might have skipped this one. I didn't hear it. So I can't comment anything on that. The one you said, Mr. Jim, I think he was making a demands to the SPC. I have to be very honest. I didn't hear that one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. That was a response for Chitipa Central. Nkatabe Central. Nkatabe Central.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. And thank you for giving the people of Nkatabe to express what we're seeing on this transaction. Mr. Kapondamgaga, what is in the public domain is that 128 billion has been stolen from the pensions fund. I am sure by now you have that information because it is in the public domain. The meeting that is being referred to in Mzuzu, the meeting which you attended, was called by the former Chief Secretary, Madam Colleen Zamba. According to Boyd Hamera, who appeared before this committee, before you, sir, Boyd Hamera told this meeting that Madam Colleen Zamba wanted to know what is causing the delay in the process of procuring Amaris Hotel. That was the question. What is the delay, according to Boyd Hamera? And from what you have said and what I've heard, you are agreeing that in that meeting it was said that, Madam, what is causing the delay is that we are being threatened. There are threats of us being sued. Did you hear those sentiments, sir? Because that's what you have told us. And that's what Boyd Hamera also told us. There were threats of the pension fund being sued. So ideally, one would say that was what was causing the delay. Madam Colleen Zamba, the former Chief Secretary, wanted to know what is causing the delay. And the response was, Madam, Akutoa Pcheza, there are threats of us being sued. To that effect, Madam Colleen Zamba then introduced Chizaso Nyirongo, a lawyer working for OPC, on the board, Peter Iwe, and Chizasu Nyilongo became the chairperson. Boyd Hamera became the principal officer or the authorizing officer. Within 30 days, the process was fast-tracked and the deal was concluded. According to the minutes led by Blantyre Chiromoni, I'm seeing there's a correlation. There's a correction. Can you confirm, sir? That's my first question. I'll come again with the second one. This one is yes or no. Just confirm. Can you confirm? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kapondamgaga, can you respond to that?
Thank you, Chair, for giving me an opportunity to respond to Nkarabe Central. I want to start by mentioning that the figure 128 billion, the way I am reading it and the way I'm hearing it out there, it's the price that was given. But the money which was paid was not 128 billion. So I just want to share with you the way I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this. So the 128 is the price, I think, which they agreed. But I think what is there. But I'm also not sure whether this money was stolen. I'm not sure. I can't say that I agree with that the money was stolen. Because I don't know. I think the banks, through the Reserve Bank, yesterday they were here. I'm following these deliberations. And they reported that they have secured, they have ring-fenced, they have prevented the funds from going to where it was going. I think it would be better for the Reserve Bank, they are better positioned to comment on these matters. I can't say anything, whether stolen or used. The comment about Madam Zamba, that he asked the question, what is causing the delay? I think for me, I heard about not that it was causing the delay, but there was a threat, as I said initially. That's where I heard that they were talking of a threat from the seller to threatening the buyer, that if you don't buy as we agreed, we'll sue you and what have you. I think that was if I remember pretty well, that was the issue. So for me, I can't say that the question was what is delaying the deal. I don't think, unless, since I say that I can't recall if that was the sentiment that was shared then, but I think what I heard in general terms was about the threat, which I think in his submission yesterday by one of the stakeholders, I think if I'm not mistaken, could be Boyd, he said that there was also a legal, they sought legal support to look at the question whether the threat could be realized or not. And they said that 80%, they said, no, it's just a threat. 20%, yes, let's give it a chance that perhaps if we don't do ABCD, it could happen. So I think my comment, it would be very hard for me to agree with the sentiments which said that Madam Zamba said what is causing the delay, and then the threat is causing the delay. I didn't think, in my recollection, generally, that was the issue. Thank you, Chair.
There was a question from Nkarabe Central that required a yes or no. Nkarabe Central, can you retake that one?
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm fine. But the second one is, Mr. Chief of Staff of the State Residence former, do you agree with me that your presence in that meeting was representing the State House, and that you were called to that meeting by OPC? You have repeatedly said so, that I was called by OPC OPC meaning Madam Colini Zamba, the Chief Secretary. So here is a meeting called by OPC, the highest office of the land, the office of the President and the Cabinet, the Chief Secretary, and you in that meeting, attending, representing the State House, the office of the President. And you have said that as the Chief of Staff, there are some decisions which you take on behalf of the principal. That's what you have said. So, your presence in that meeting, representing the State House, now I tell you this, that after that meeting, the staff you had, the Hamiras and others, from that meeting, they went now to the fund, say, Anatita Anatuk, State House want to know, Kuntunda Afuna Odziwa, they want to know what is causing the delay. Why are we delaying? We are called by the powers that be there. The highest office on the land. We are called by the highest office on the land. What's your comment, sir?
We can give you, controlling officer, chance to respond to that one. Maybe before you take that one, the challenge that we've been having as a country is people who work at State House because of proximity to power. Time and again, since the coming in of multi-party democracy, proximity to power has nurtured deals that have ended up to be stinking to the general populace. Maybe this proximity to power, did it, in your view, did it influence the future deals that happen in as far as the purchase of Amaris Hotel is concerned? If this committee concludes that this deal, in its infancy, you participated silently in that meeting, and in its maturation, you are nowhere to be seen, and you abandoned the responsibility that you got in that meeting in its infancy. Where are you in the maturation of this deal, Mr. Kapondamgaga, please? Maybe before you take that one, there's a supplementary from Mulanje West.
To this date, was the former president aware of the Amaris Hotel sale or not? If not, or if yes, who was the president then? Because us sitting here, we haven't met any chief of staff, any SPC, but we were able to read even the communication from the current president being interested in this. That is not going to even support anybody else, but is looking forward to see it to an end. What happened for you not to tell the president, despite working in his office and being the chief of staff, that each and every day you were able to say good morning? What happened for not the president to know? Or maybe were you acting as a president during that time? Thank you.
Mr. Kapondamgaga, can you take that from Katabi Central? Then in the one I've asked regarding proximity to power and its effects to the growth of this nation, and at the same time, kindly consider responding to the supplementary from Mulanje West. Over to you, Mr. Kapondamgaga, please. What has gone out of order, Chilazulu Nyungwe?
Thank you, Chair. It's not necessarily a question, but what has gone out of order is that I don't think the controlling officer responded to the question that you had posed to do with the appointing powers of authorities coming from the Ministry of Information and not OPC. So I'd like for him to clarify that as he's taking the other questions. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
You may take that one. Just to correct Chilazulu Nyungwe, we talked of Ministry of Finance as a direct line ministry for the pension fund. Over to you, Mr. Kapondamgaga.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with Chiladzo Nyungwe. Is that Chiladzo Nyungwe? Yeah, thank you. I think I responded to the question. I said this meeting, it's OPC that invited the Public Service Pension Trust Fund. I think it would be imperative that when the SPC, you are interfacing with her, you probably ask that question whether the Minister of Finance, as you are saying, is the line ministry for that. That's how I answered, I think, if I remember pretty well. But if I didn't, that's a response. Chiladzulu Nyungwe. Coming to the issue of let me start with Nkarabe Sento. My presence in the meeting, we were not discussing any political decisions. We were discussing issues to do with, I think the discussion that, not we were, but a discussion that I listened in there were to do with operations governance and the Amaris Hotel issue about the threat. So I wouldn't subscribe to the opinion that the people were saying that, unless I see the minutes, the people were saying that the State House, the head of state, but it could be, yes, that some people seeing me would misinterpret it in that way, because it is a subject to misinterpretation. I think I needed to also indicate that. But I don't think I was coming in there with any directives from the president and what have you. I was coming in there, and I want to consistently indicate that I was called in to listen. That's why I took a deliberate position to be silent. Because anything I could have said there would have been misinterpreted as well.